Ms. Sohn, you and I had a good visit in my office. I appreciated your coming by. As I expressed in that meeting, I've got real concerns about your nomination. And my concerns are in the context of the growing calls of the left to have more and more censorship. The Federal Communications Commission has enormous power. It has power over broadcasters, and it is also, particularly under Democratic administrations, asserting power over big tech. When you were at the commission previously, you were a vocal proponent of the commission asserting power over big tech. In the public space, you have been unabashedly a person of the left. Now, that can be fine if that is combined with a commitment to free speech. In your opening statement, you said freedom of speech is the lifeblood of our American experience and has always been at the core of my work. And that commitment is important. It is actually something more and more rare on the left, and yet your record suggests a deep antipathy to those with different views. How would you comfort a conservative concerned about censorship when they see your nomination that you would not, if confirmed, use your power as a government regulator to censor more and to silence those with whom you disagree?
Thank you, Senator Cruz, and I did enjoy our visit as well. I would say, look at my record. Look at the conservative cable channels that I worked with, for years to get them carriage on cable systems when those systems would not carry them. I have long worked with organizations and, again, companies with whom I vigorously disagree on their point of view. These are, fervent Republicans, fervent supporters of the former president, and I work with them to get their views online. I believe that I've been characterized very unfairly as being anti-conservative speech. I think my record says otherwise. I have been critical of Fox News. I'm sure you have my tweets. But that was in the context of a hearing where big tech was being blamed for misinformation, as they deserve, okay? And I'm not quite sure about your statement about me wanting to assert authority over big tech when I was at the FCC, because it's actually been the exact opposite, but we can talk about that. But Fox News, I have been critical because I don't think if you're going to look at misinformation, you have to look at the entire ecosystem, and frankly, not just at Fox News. I have also been critical of liberal stations as well. I'm not a huge fan of the big chyrons on cable news.
Well, I will say yesterday I had a conversation with Chris Ruddy, who owns Newsmax, and I will say he confirmed what you said, and that he described his relationship with you as having been an advocate for additional voices. That's an encouraging sign. I was comforted by what Mr. Ruddy had to say. At the same time, you urged, look at your record. And indeed, you said that I had the Fox News tweets, and you're right, I at least have some of them. And I would note what your record says, November 6, 2020. So do you still want me to believe that social media is more dangerous to our democracy than Fox News? Another one about Fox News, I guess old media can destroy democracy. You have multiple tweets going after Fox News very directly. Now, look, you're entitled to have your own views. I don't agree with everything on Fox News either, or really any news station. But it's one thing to have a view. It's another thing for the government to use its regulatory power to silence views it disagrees with. Some people home watching are regular watchers of Fox News. How can they have any comfort that if you're confirmed, you won't use the power of government to silence them?
Well, I'll make that commitment right here, but I would also say that I take any allegations of bias extremely seriously. I've been working very closely with the Office of Government Ethics on an ethics agreement, which I've signed. And if there's any question about my bias, I will work with them to determine whether I need to not participate in a proceeding. But I do not believe I'm biased. All of those tweets, I believe, I can't read them all, were in the context of a comparison, usually a Section 230 hearing, between is big, it's not a comparison. I was making the comparison that if you were looking at just big tech, and again, I'm highly critical of them, you also have to look at the other voices in the ecosystem.
I'll point to another tweet, which you said, which is the whole point of the hearing, to work the referees prior to the election so that misinformation, violence-inducing, and hate speech remain unmoderated. It's already worked on Twitter and Facebook over the past few months. Now, what is troubling about this is you are advocating for more censorship. You are advocating, and in fact, you're saying the, quote, working the refs is one of the talking points that Democrats use today to say that anyone defending free speech is working the refs.
Well, I guess I don't read it that way. Well, first of all, the tech platforms are under a different regime than the FCC does not have authority over big tech platforms.
But under net neutrality, you're trying to assert more power.
No, sir. In fact, I've actually been one of the biggest voices against the FCC asserting authority. When the former president tried to make the FCC interpret Section 230, I was extremely vocal that the FCC did not have authority.
So you opposed the former president's efforts to protect free speech.
No, that's
I guess
not.
Doesn't give. So let me ask you this: Do you believe big tech should be censoring more or censoring less than they do right now?
I don't have an opinion on that. I think they need to be more. They need to be more transparent about why they do what they do. I'm not pleased with their moderation either way, because you have no idea why they're doing it.